flashlight is only illuminate the corner of the vain ceiling. Actor, both of whom, from the haunts of the field of view to the dark attic, well disappeared, also does not seem to come down suddenly. This place is somewhat interim pleasure. The stage is empty. Instead sound is heard, like, such as those rampaging rats. Terrible sound, coming down from the ceiling. Two of the monster, in the dark, you have a wakak echo. Before long, the sounds has ceased. Ran smack into my escaped dwarf as it was caught. A little while, eerie silence. Monsters are fighting, remain silent, without making even noises, are fighting to Asamidoro. The terrible plight seems to appear vividly. Stage director Kogoro Akechi, through the relationship as taste two of sightseeing is, at gasped, was listened. I have happened is what it is in the ceiling. Do not be too so much quiet. We either one. When, out of the silence, such as death, faintly, I came hear the thin moan and yarn. Either it is, he was strangled. Creeps Sokadatsu, such as but moan of death scream. The small voice in such a way Denghuo disappears, and gradually decline, and will blend into in the dark. Came back even more eerie silence from it, and it cannot wait a few tens of seconds is gone. Mishra Mishiri heard footsteps on the ceiling. Soon, from the example hole of one of Hosabiki's, came down and soon, in the previous Hosabiki, it is tied. The human body has become tired. It corpse. Round light of flashlight with its dead, and slides down the wall, painted ellipse on the Rongzon. Carcasses, chair placed on a scaffold, and dodging the table, was lying quietly in the white ellipse of Rongzon. After all, it is so. Ikai was losing small body. Grated carcasses in Hosabiki was that ugly dwarf. On the neck of the whole body black small monster. One of the red string is like a horrible wound. It had been wrapped around. It was strangled by the cord. Was framed in the light of the ellipse. The black corpse on the of Rongzon. Glowing string of the neck. Bizarre, but was a beautiful picture. Before long, and transmitted the same Hosabiki, monster of the perpetrators of the mask, came into the Suru quiet screen. He, while crowded Kagami on top of the dead, had been examined, whether it has been found that there is no worry of resuscitation. By solving the Hosabiki that enclosed the body, rising leisure tasks and scaffolding of chairs and tables, hid Hosabiki to ceiling, the hole that came down now. The restored plate, well, chairs that are no longer needed. The table is returned to the original location. Carefully, had to erase the traces of the crime. The next, and I think to the settlement of the dead. Not the case. Phantom of the mask, that was before on the falling ceased a little while ago, and close to the Buddha statue. Suddenly, with great force, was rolled press is Kanabutsu. Make a gone and gloomy sound. Out of the pedestal, the Tathagata like fall into Nokizama. Under the ass's emptiness view and on top of the remaining pedestal, a small handbag safe is put. Hansus also came found as soon as the last thing. Two of the monster. For this handbag safe, he was that such a terrible conflict. Tathagata like it, first hand hidden up in handbag safe. In it, there is no difference in the Sadameshi. Numerous treasures have been hidden. Mask of a person. Open the lid of the safe. The goods in, the people of the pocket, and placed separately. No, it showed dress to put. Increases in detail later monkey, but the copious jewelries had been put in the safe. Akechi will be described, when taking out a contents. Safe is to leave its. Thief is the greater Kanabutsu than his own body. But he is trying to restore wake. Unexpected intractable relationship as hand. Where Akechi of note verbal role is go there to lend a hand. There is a charm that finally installing the original pedestal. The real pirates are the more force was strong. Any help I did not. And commentary attached. When it is completed, Phantom was suffer from the corpse of the dwarf. Leave the room. Once again it began tailing of three people friendly. Sunikawa, it was not even enough left. Mitani, young man, the sadness of the amateur, rather than amuse this your play, was completely scared. Mitani-kun, do you even worse in the mood? Akachi is suddenly aware of it. A flashlight was Sashitsuke in the face of Mitani. No, what I do not even, since just be too strange a little. Mitani is, to say so, but showed laughing. Complexions white as paper. It floats even fine. Avaros in the forehead. Affirm that again. A little bit more. I know everything. Akechi is cheered, holding hands of youth, walked in the manner polite. The destination of the monster was a storeroom of still example. He is in the same order as front of the dwarf. Remove the lid of the old well. The dead came suffer. Threw into it. Ear was to imitate the throwing. The bottom of a well. Monster of the dwarf is. He is in the process of the street you show Edogawa a while ago. Straw doll. Now seems he had been thrown to the old well. To say that, it does not really mean that jumped. Even though dead, he is because of a corpse of your play. Only dressed to be thrown. Skipping the mouth of Piyoi and well. Stood in a corner of the storeroom. Mask of a person even, to go to the same corner. Enemies are, side by side in harmony, declined. This is the end of the second act. First, Akechi was commentary. He still continues to hold the hand of Mitani. In I still have 3 acts, either the first or Sunikawa Mr. While Nozaki Komi the dark old well by jerks the nose, asked. Yes, there are 3 acts ice. But if was your boring. 3 acts. First as you can be seen staying in the mouth. I like it. The inspector in favor of immediate. But before that I want to see by examining the inside of the well. And it is how the unexpected can take it anymore. Now, because there is a small ladder to the bottom of the corner. To make it into the well. Look down, because you lend a flashlight. So forgive me if the stage manager came out. Inspector immediately borrowed a flashlight, and down the ladder, walked into the well, to the bottom, and no matter by dividing the ladder was a terrible thing. Not like unexpected, and down go. First of all, it had been illuminated in the light of the flashlight it is just now thrown into the straw doll. The inspector picked it up out of the well, was raised throwing below it, as also you know the reader. When the Mitani youth tied Shizuko, but 2 of the futon that was thrown. Hey, please help me. Great futon. Voice from the bottom of Sunikawa's welcome sounded. And hear it? 2 people of the phantom product was not standing in the corner in the order of Akechi is. Close to the mouth of the well. A futon that police inspector begins to pointing from the bottom. 1 by 1. Was pulled. Well, what it was under the futon. It is to be a dead 2 people. I had been in your play from a little while ago. No, well, to Sunikawa Mr. One person is Goku, to show Edogawa. But, the other one, that ugly dwarf island, criminal Edogawa will be nothing on earth. He it is I want quickly ascertained as possible. The inspector was skewed full well, while applying the foot at the bottom of the ladder, and Sashitsuke flashlight electric lamp. Except for the bottom, wax. It screams that, as expected of the police inspector was also could not help is not surprised. What's happening? Voice of Akechi from the darkness of the above. He has peeked through the well. This is it. Inspector is a flashlight, showed close to the more bottom, to see the carcasses, but prior to the resolution. However, with him like this a corpse. Everyone did not imagine. In the 10 days of late autumn, the more disturbed is still form. Frank has not been in. But, then the frank, more frightening phenomenon than maggot is, stood in 2 of the corpse. There are giants of 2 people, but the 2 of sumo up was not overlap rounded to the abdomen in the direction of 1 person. The latter legs pui, the part that is visible constricted even more eloquent. As if it is raccoon like a paunch of a mezaiku. It is a phenomenon of the corpse expansion. Gas generated in the internal organs. At the very force, the dead like a rubber balloon. It had inflated, even such as the face. Shiwaganobi. Pores will open, like a giant country baby. Are upswelling to bursting face. This is Edogawa. By clothing, it can be inferred that the person, the inspector then, but was transferred to Hyoe and eyes in the face of another one of the carcasses. Nari glance. Too much of it. Shouting truly with him also. Gap. Tried to move up, came in, from the involuntarily ladder. Inspector is not unreasonable, also was surprised. It was upswelling in there. And the other one of the dead was never an unknown man. Far from hate unknown. It cannot be forgotten even to forget. He darly of the upcoming incident. Miserable to be. A huge form, such as a balloon ball, had been laid there. The inspector in Shinagawa Bay. There is once that came across that person. At that time, it was a wax-made masks. However, the monster that is now lying on the bottom of the foot is not or wearing a mask. Really, I have no lips. My nose is over. It has become shiny and red, bald in the face. What's more, it is upswelling to twice the size of the living. Not anything can be the epithet. It had the shape of a physiognomy. Sunikawa Mr. felt a strange stupor, such as not to believe in his own vision. It fell to a strange anxiety. The second time face to face with a man with no lips, yet tremble illuminated in white light of a flashlight, at the bottom of the well. To completely surprise, I saw swelling up carcasses like a heap of sumotori. Inspector is not rough to me. I had to run away. Face is by no means impossible. This is nothing. This guy, barely retaken care. Mr. Sunikawa was about to ask Akechi of the outside of the well. The presence of a man with no lips is no as to know. But it is where he is. What a guy of. I do not know anyone. I lived in the ceiling of the study. The guy has killed Shoichi Edogawa. Akechi answer from the darkness. Well, now we play. It has been found up there. Straw doll that was likened to Shoichi Edogawa were killed in the dwarf of black undercover. The dwarf were also strangled. A monster mask and straw doll, dead dwarf, was also thrown into the well. Straw doll is Shoichi Edogawa. If the one who left without this lips guys. A translation corresponds to the dwarf in the direction of your play. The role of that small monster, man with no lips. It was demonstrated to play vividly. Then, the criminal that we had Nani looking for traveling around is. You're right to have been hidden in the ceiling of the mansion or. Sunikawa Mr. is a tone which is not fully believed in. This guy is together. First in one somehow. Of all places. Something the ceiling of the mansion. We chose to hiding place. He is what may be asked from what a number of questions that occur flock. It plight, not tired, even judgment. This man had hidden to the ceiling is anything not that strange. Everyone, my home. Because the particular thing is study is nostalgic. Akechi in the darkness, answer the heedless. If say is my home, his is I study, in. Somehow, field Yanagia is. It sounds like this guy in the mansion. But, the inspector was no longer more and more no. It's right, this guy is exactly what out of this house. What's that? Sunikawa Mr. Tonkyo of screams. Man without the lips, grave outside, Shizuko's husband, Hataki Inagi, S.A. Shozo Mr. That, or what there is that such a fool. Hataki Inagi Shozo is supposed to have died in the 2 months before the prison. It is believed that, however, he is revived. Under the burial has been grave. I was resuscitated. Sunikawa set up to crawl out of the well. A flashlight was Sashitsuke in the face of Akechi. Is it real? No way. I am quite sure that I will not a joke. Is your most from being surprising to think. He resuscitation, but is not a natural resuscitation. All work at plotting is his ilk. Akechi is a solemn omamochi. I began to talk about a bizarre 10 million facts. Thing does not easy. You are knowing it. Did you ever remain silent until now? Sunikawa said. Also held mortification that Ace the amateur detective, become involuntarily violent tone. No, I not had a secretive on purpose. I finally yesterday was aware of it. Akechi, while good, in order to lighten the story, was down bra from the storeroom of Heaven Squares. Braille the electric lamp of dusty, dim 5 was a candle power, but in the eyes accustomed implicitly, more dazzling, and the package is in the room was bright. The merit who sniff it is Fumio's my place. That person is the one of the Y prison medical staff. Manipulating well. It came at last to elicit it. Akechi as the description will be continued. Detailed it is. You will have the opportunity to either talk now, because the thing that still remains is also the third act eyes of your play. And I say to very simple, that is, and the people of the medical office of the prison, guards and the 2/3 disease prisoners. For I had to dead the Hadakiyanagi Shozo in cahoots with. He is a little on the sick of a serious condition, there was no difference. However, we were not dead yet, and the dead not different an inch. Not only was in a kind of paralysis, Nanyang was ceased from the plant. We know the powerful drug that curare. Perhaps it may be that such chemicals have been used. Rabbit also corner, is Hadakiyanagi Shozo, in his good offices of the likes. While alive, safely was able to leave the prison gate, and, then, from the burial has been a graveyard. I was revived. He of stealing treasure, it became a demon to protect that reservoir. It is a novel in the prison of Japan, I do not believe that such a thing is done. Inspector is across the mouth also serves as reservoir. Field Yanagi is a big rich place of money to guarantee the lifetime of a number of people is. Anything you do not have. Lifetime is Sashitsuke, a fortune of more life and comfort. Whether you have those, not dazzling eyes, it is Hadakiyanagi that rose from the grave, in the appearance of the as one likes, because they quickly caught, in Shinobu in a very painful, become or something sulfuric acid. I had burn the face. Then, and totally different person namely came appear in this world again, become monster with no lips. Quote, but, it is strange. Prison term of Hadakiyanagi is, but I think it was certainly 7 years. Why did not wait for it? It is not necessary to do anything, such as burning the face. Quote. Sunikawa said explanation of Akechi is but somehow the unexpected fall in full. Mr. Sunikawa, you no way. I am quite sure that I will not in forgot theft of Sugimura jewelry store. Akechi, while smiling, began to say that the sudden strange error, even if you remember, of Sugimura jewelry store, but do you, it was somehow. It was the last year of March. Sugimura jewelry store safe is broken. The 2 people clerk had been murdered in, quote, that's right, was a very clever crime unfortunately. Now, I not grasp even take anything of hand tape following. Then, Rapids watches, shop theft, Ogura Baron home of the famous diamond affair, Katakoji Marquis necklace theft case. Quote. Oh, you still also. I had noticed there. That's right, everyone was the same modus operandi. I like also the culprit is staring the same person. I had to continue the investigation. Sunikawa said, replied eating a little face. Does it now, caught the criminal? Akechi is blurred out that more and more outlandish. Where to? The inspector did not have us not embarrassed. Here, Akechi is pointing to the old well of the feet. This guy is the jewel thief. Sunikawa, Mr. waiting for you to understand the meaning of his words. Akechi will continue to speak further, or cause a ghost company, to or worked fraud, for the Hadakiyanagi, rather of ostensibly legitimate occupation. The real him, it was a terrible jewel thief. Hate, not the only thief. Murder or deadly sins of even you have committed. Out because it's his thing there was a few people like. Anyway the bad guys we are in. Time by the betrayal. Also important jewelry unexpected also limited not to intercept. such as to snitch after depending on the thing guy, and it will come to think that if you look in the field willow of leader price for 7 years, is a translation cannot stomach Johnny to the prison cell. Further offenses are discovered. If you to become a death penalty, the dead or to imitate, is like burning the face with sulfuric acid. Does not have anything. No, it just cannot still save. He is wearing what resembles a satisfactory limbs to artificial arm prosthesis. It was even dressed a terrible crippled. Now, instead of the Sogo, reborn completely to another human being, and look back to my house. Happened to be downright funny. He just the death penalty stiffness. Steel reservoir jump. They become addicted to greetas. Did not take into account the things with cute wife and children. It is emergency and look to come to a temple of our house. Only his wife was not love. Only to cute children. Was completely changed indeed. Frightening. My appearance has become shame. The mortal sin of jailbreaking did not break Haru courage. During the 2 months since the jailbreak, he was hiding in the likes of the house in Shenzhen. Also we know perfectly the name of the like. And undercover at night, sneaked into our house, and glimpsed the figure of his wife and children. Also a cache of jewelry again. We were comforted himself in small quantity. Shizuko-san, if you go to the hot springs of Yanyuan, step by step then, staying somewhere due to circumstances in the same inn, such as that excluding the bathing figure of my wife from the window of Udano. Are you even miserable struggle? Jewelry he had saved steal, as was Nasu. See in a little while ago you play. I had been hidden in the study of the Buddha. He is, in order to prevent the approach of people to there. We elaborate a wide variety of ideas. Iri Buddha group also is it, to launch a trick in the eyes of Kanabutsu that hid the jewelry. When a person standing in front of it, it is also of which had been so by itself your eyes open. In addition, as a hiding place of an emergency, it makes a dark room to that ceiling. Also had to be able to enter and exit by removing a piece of the coffered ceiling. His ingenuity. He, on the Shenzhen the likes of the house, but had been in hiding for about 2 months. Recently. So, it was no longer anyway peace of mind. First to the obsession with jewelry. He loved jewelry as mad. What inconvenience of not in body, but also for its became a jewel thief. And beloved jewelry than the wife and children. To live separately, it was no longer able to take it anymore. And the one-person cache of jewelry fellow, Kanzuian, was also found to have tried to get secretly. Also, if you look in the Hatakinagi, also of Matani-kun is infrequenting here of the house, there is no difference and was a kind of anxiety. So he is like a thief. Sneaked into my house, had once made, to the ceiling of the hiding place of study, hide themselves, but from there was supposed to be the lookout of jewelry. Indeed his precaution was not in vain. One of the fellow who had doubted is, one day, sure enough sneaked to the study, was trying to steal a jewel in the Buddha. Hatakinagi is, in the ceiling. I was waiting for it, had been prepared in advance. Mean that dagger helped that with a string. Its plight is as was applied to your eyes in the first act of your play a little while ago. Quote, so, because the likes came to steal the gems. Sunikawa Mr. involuntarily sandwich the mouth. That's right, Edogawa is Shoichi, but is of course pseudonym. That guy what? It was the song's hateful who betrayed the leader. 3 acts ice. Hatakinagi Shozo is, but knew that it is a villain. It was surprising is that doing to the murderer. But, even so, do not fall to the full, as your theory, and this time the culprit is that it is Field Willow. He then kidnapped Toreko, such as requesting a ransom. Will was a terrible imitate, to the psychology of the side. I will feel like a big contradiction there. Quote, Sunikawa Mr. asked a quizzical. It's there. Second act ice tonight you play. In order to clarify that point, I was subjected to your eyes in demonstration. As a look, Hatakinagi is killed by another one of the guy year. is that man. I think you and I who integrated. I do not know. However, that person is wearing glasses. It is outside that seems guy who wore a mask. Inspector, is that it has been demonstrated while ago. There was no outside to answer it. Small black to represent the man with no lips guy was killed in the person of the mask. Let's put on your eyes the person. Kun, please take the glasses and a mask. Akechi was not standing between the storeroom crapules, multiplied by the voice actor of the black cloak of the foremost. The Sunikawa Mr. Matanimu, the corner that is accumulation of damaged chairs and tables, was eagerly staring. Electric lamp of dismal 5 candles. The black monster of 2 large and small, are strangely out the light. Black cloak, a mysterious person in black soft, depending on the words, increasing the face, was first of all remove the large sunglasses. Only glasses has been established. It was found that the person is a very bizarre face. As the eye was sore burned, become red, eyelid is short, eyelashes fell exit. From the meantime, such is the eye of the fish, which was about to rot. Whitish both eyes, stared at the rough unexpected space. Sunikawa said, in a premonition, as Hatcher advanced to involuntarily one step before. Matani youth also seemed disturbed badly hard, and turned pale, blurted out the shit, not sure of something translation. Black cloak of the monster, then, was hiding cover. The other hand, a large mask, was removed in the manner torn off. The entire face, in light of reddish electric lamps, became exposed. Imagine the street. That person's nose was only half toward the chin from the cheeks. It had been shining moose and red bald. And lips. Oh, lips. Oh, no lips, man. Quote, Sunikawa mister, cried in a Tonkyo voice. What is somehow unexpected, no refreshing. I feel like if I were nightmares. Inspector in order just in case. And Sashitsuke flashlight electric lamp was seen except for the bottom of the old well. No lips monster. Hadakiyanagi shows a swelling up corpse of his properly wow next to the original location. As of somnambulism, it exactly the same monster appeared 2 people. Which is a real, but which is the ghost? First Sunikawa said, this guy was speaking correctly. The third, no lips man. At first, wax made of your face, which was wearing a Sonoda black rainbow that burnt to death in Shinagawa Bay. The second is Hadakiyanagi Shozo dead at the bottom of the now well. And I hear in the third monster is standing. Then, a guy with no lips, is a translation made to the fact that killed the guy with no lips. But, he saw the face of Akechi eating surface. That's right, no lips guys. I was killed with no lips Hadakiyanagi Shozo. In other words, in this time of the incident, to have a person with no 2 people of the lips, in an entirely different purpose. A different crime committed and I was not. We have to meme that had confused it until now. It was not able to grasp the truth of the incident. Quote, such a thing is, one wheel who likes so well, Nanti relate to the same incident, is very stupid accident. Sunikawa said the words of Akechi was like Kota Matamashi, it could not be any way consent. I do not have a chance. If both to be true of one wheel, but not unreasonable also become you think like that. One is bright red fake. Come on. Please take it. Akechi is a half to Sunikawa mister, the other half. I went towards the black cloak of the person. On hearing the order, the black cloak of man, no woman, quickly kanagorosued a hat to the back of the ear, and put a hand to his chin. Suddenly, my face, it took turning the marimari. It was not only a very elaborate wax made of your face, had appeared from the bottom of your face, too, of sightseeing, although had is vaguely kanzui from the front again, assistant Fumio's woman of Akechi. It had a beautiful smile. Depending Chan, you two do not let Ikoi undercover. Mr. Fumio is. She was strangled in your play. The small monster of black clothes, multiplied by the gentle voice. then Minakikaya dwarf. Depending on the voice, the black cloth that was wrapped around the face, solving round and round. Oh, it was painful. If in the light-hearted tone, when a soliloquy, as readers have also been imagined, it also assisting of Akechi, this Kobayashi boy. Oh, it was after all you guys. Because what's good at so much you play, such as when you heard the attic of the scream, was horrified, Sunikawa said, while appreciation of the amateur actors, from the hands of Fumio's taking a wax made of your face, but was looking for a while. Yeah, Mr. Akechi, you can, for it is those was looking for a crafted wax surface was wearing a Sonoda black rainbow. If I went a little surprised, such some of his head, 2 days ago, was witnessed in the apartment of Akechi. Wax dolls of Shizuko and Shigeru boy was floating like a phantom. It is as you might expect. I was equivalent to explore its crafted people. In doll example, over Gooden, Akechi was why prying eyes the face of Mitani youth, in conjunction with the example of the doll, which I was allowed made. I because I had properly remain type. D. Either examined your right and you seen by examining the first of the requester of that your face I saw. In strange thing is, the requester, I was not a Sonoda black rainbow. Who I was, do you name is known. Inspector is not likely, but coughing, because will was ordered in the course strange name. Where the name has been found, there is no way. Physiognomy fute was keep illicit, and bing, it also is the very ambiguous. In the wax surface, in front of you, do you have a guy that was another order? In other words, do you face no same lips or 3 production? Sunikawa Mr. hit home indeed, but, on the outside of my order, I only just made only 1. I also because the thing that I noticed in that respect, but I saw examine the waxwork people of all, made the same kind of your face to the outside a person who does not have any one person. Quote, then, I was stripped in Shinagawa Bay. Sonoda was wearing a black rainbow. That mask is, that I will be that I used to order the offender. The inspector at the drop brand body de Fu saw the face of Akechi. Yes, that novelist, despite not a criminal, I was wearing a mask of the criminal. There, you terrible deception of the real culprit is hidden. However, the thing is, later let's slowly talk. Quote, Akechi is where turned around to Fumio and Kobayashi. I would have tired you guys. In there, a kimono te chaku huan, slowly good night, such as Sunikawa said. At that time, the eyes in the Fumio Akechi, meaning hair, the feel like dodged taken the cue of crackling in eyelids, was strangely thought. Fumio and Kobayashi boy, the floor of the raised plate is restored, while seeing off the going out of the storeroom. Akechi is, now, it is the third act first you play. It is, as even before the retold, is to be seen at the talk in the mouth, dispose of dead bodies in the wells, as that of any tomorrow. Rabbit also corner. Let's leave this unpleasant place. Quote, the saying, prompting 2 people coming out of the storeroom, and Shimakir, the door of the storeroom, and head back down the hall toward the guest room. In the middle, beginning with your wave of nanny. Many years of servants we are, while sheepishly, had been waiting for everyone. They from Akechi, is also possible to climb to the 2nd floor, to approach to the barn also. It was strictly forbidden, Akechi and Sunikawa inspector is, and get to the chair of the drawing room. Your wave of nanny, in the haggard to worry about face, to TAG listening to the state, was coming carrying such as tea. Bias, you'll not have to be had in this room. The place other people should be so as not for a while put here. In addition, and know implicitly the 2nd floor of the den, unexpected look into the storeroom of the kitchen is. Please keep in well told her. Quote, when Akechi say, your waves pass refers to that thing in the hallway of everyone. I came back in restless. Wife and what's there in botchin is survive. Anyo, wife after all, do you have to go to jail? faithful she is, it more than anything I want me make. No, I do not worry. In Akechi's your efforts criminal as he was found to be in the outside. Sunikawa Mr. Comfort. But, madam, let Esther then Irasharu hidden integrated anywhere. Wakashian. Be like irreparable. It is also okay. Are his wife our whereabouts known? Two people also do not have such a thing to never commit suicide. Akechi answered Tanama Shiku. We wave to hear it, take a sigh of relief relieved. D. You are, I know the whereabouts of Shizuko's. It was why no. It's really where Sunika was new to you as. Did not have us not surprised. At the same time, the absence of anything and everything astute of Akechi. Great detective ability. Came to become better yet horribly. Yes, you will be able to show you the safety of appearance of soon Shizuko's us. But before that, you must put the outcome of the person who play. Akechi was me out of your wave while sipping a cup of tea, also began the explanation. The third act first is Saito old man killing. Some, but not in the course Shizuko-san is the culprit. Was killed Hatake Inagi Shozo. Example is a wax mask of the monster of the workup. Anyo sealing of the tricks you know you are. Without until the detailed description. Well, clever deception of the thief as you can see. It is, just at that time, hiding in the ceiling, and I was plotting that something horrible, perhaps, in order to put the camouflage was enigmatic ghost stories to his crime. The house who came high to there. You might was to threaten in the face of example, whether in any case, that guy is. I was hiding in the ceiling by chance at that time. To there. The old man and Shizuko Mr. Saito came in with a good fight. When listening, conflict has just become vigorously. So he came up with really bizarre murder. Examples of the dagger, throwing from the ceiling, killing Saito old man, but scheming and trying to pass on the sense and to Shizuko. And it was fairly successful. Ms. Shizuko had a muck in the quarrel. As Maji could kill the old man, he had been fully in excitement. Just mood of the Shizuko's reveal, but as in the form. The dagger was thrust sasa to the chest of the old man. No one is in the room. Unexpected Kentora be such a gap come flying of the dagger. Miss Shizuko placed in such a strange state. She is a poor person. Unconsciously. And he had Sashikiroshi the opponent. Is worried always doubted myself. That you do not wonder. Came the prosecutor or magistrate to it. Such as if like a court. Begins to drift terrible air. Wakashi even a little. If their instigate person. Mine weak woman of his. Become willing to run away from home as a matter of course. Quote, well, I will not stand as really good path. I was to me. I do not have a thought like on the outside. Sunikawa Mr. Tentatively has been demonstrated to admire. However, that in the next moment, become drop brand to Omemochi to still wear Yara off. But, somehow there is a match unexpected points of makes sense. Of wax mask criminal, for what the heck, would are doing such around tedious. He of the spirit werewolf there. The Hatake Inagi Shozo looking at the place that took the jewelry to kill. But it is also seems to like the was the purpose. Well, anything is not it may not be killed until Saito old man. Quote, no, also is killed Hatake Inagi, not his real intention also is killed Saito. I as he has raised monkey has not yet played a purpose other day. Really the person you are in corporate orchid trying to kill the guy is. More outside it is located in the who is, because that person is. Sunikawa said, again, with the feeling that has been showered one sword from sperm. Flustered to ask, Hatake Inagi is Shizuko's, and we also together perhaps Shigeru boy. Akechi is such frankly, Sunikawa said, was on again before, thinking only be regarded as a large sinner of murder the Shizuko. It is quite a fall during 1 hour or their need. Shizuko is on that or found and not guilty. Her own, and he had been aimed at the prey of the terrible murder demons. Oh, I can do that, this time of the incident. From the beginning, You can be killed. Shizuko's was the only purpose. Various crimes outside, all in all, was not only a means for reaching its sole purpose. Sunikawa Mr. Chito wait does not get along. People show fuku. That's funny. Frail Shizuko's to kill. You need a lot of time and effort. The very first, in the decoy Shigeru boy, when confined to that person of Aoyama to the vacant house, without any of the hassle we should have been able to murder. Nothing state people, over suspicion of Saito old man killing, such as drop in crime. Even without that tedious around. Quote, Sunikawa's, I think this incident serious is. The point is, Akechi is suddenly saw Momomochi above Isukai. He was quietly staring at the face of the police inspector. The real culprit of this incident is not a human. Ear was wearing a human skin. Is a beast. It is poisonous snake. Oh, what obsession. We cannot be judged in the imagination of ordinary people. Of the beast world of his tenacity. The culprit, as cat play moat the mouse. I was not toying with Shizuko's, or kidnapped beloved child, or a question Shizuko's the imprisoned in the basement, or horrible, such as to murder of assumed criminal, by using the outside any means, and an inch useless. Tome 5 minutes rice, scare, sad was, and pulled tormented. It is the last in, for he scheming and let kill, is the culprit. We have to kill the victim just to Hitachi. It was botchy, or sucking, licking, or look hurt a little bit. Terrible in the toy. Then, you such mean that trying to kill Eden angling. Akechi is pale, with Sokita face told horror likely from the bottom of my heart. I heard within that, also Sunikawa said, it did not have without the something creeps. If Wakashi that it's true. It must be rescued even early Shizuko's possible. That person you where you are. First, why the inside of that strict watch? Get out of here. Will was able. The inspector from that Havatsu of Akechi, once frustrating, I went impatiently. I did not reason is to get out of here. Coffin. Coffin that contains the corpse of Saito old man. I was used to the kind of magic. It is the coffin. Sunikawa Mr. Struck by surprise. There was no time to hide a look of surprise. Is not no thinking like in the outside house and I had been spied by without any police officers or family member gap. The person who out of that day house has known clearly. Said that those leaving the outside house Tay has just had a coffin if. And Shizuko-san and Shigeru boy. Hiding in that coffin. Here the exit was to think or not there is no outside. Simple arithmetic problems. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.